Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Chris. I'm a graphic designer based in Melbourne, and today I'm going to be doing a little bit of talking, so I want you to strap yourselves in and listen, because I'm going to be explaining how I got to this point, what I see for the future of my Instagram feed and my YouTube channel, and what actually led to me creating what I did, who inspired me, and what I learned throughout the whole process. Before I got the idea of creating this rainbow feed that all joined up and doing only vector art, I was actually posting a combination of photography and graphic design. This is because a friend of mine called Nathaniel, also known as Nathaniel's Life on Instagram, took me under his wing when he came to Melbourne and showed me how to shoot the streets. I fell in love with photography, but at the same time I couldn't just let go of my passion for graphic design, which I'd been studying at uni first year, and I'd also been learning at school up until that point. Everything changed, however, when I found this YouTube channel called Chi World. Now let's go outside, because I feel like I've been in my room for ages, and I'll tell you the rest. So Chi World was an illustrator, is still an illustrator, and a great illustrator, and what he did and does is basically vector art portraits, and he's really good at it. Now, he made tutorials that I followed, and I ended up creating designs that resembled his kind of style and how I thought you should do vector art, and this was the beginning. I'm going to take you guys all the way back to June the 19th, 2018. This is the first ever vector art portrait that I ever made, and this was because of Chi World himself. Taught his subscribers how to use the brush tool to basically create your outlines, and then you color in your outlines and you shade accordingly afterwards. This was the first one that I made, and I was pretty proud of it, to be honest. After this, I really started to find my passion for vector art. And this is when I created XXX. XXX had just passed away, and I was listening to his music at the time, and so I thought, let's create a vector art portrait. Now, these are the only two artworks that I made before I decided to fully commit my whole feed to this kind of style. So after this point, I knew that I wanted to fully commit my feed and my design work towards this vector art portrait kind of vibe. And so I ended up cutting my feed off and starting afresh, and this is where I got the idea to do something completely new and different. And so I came up with connecting each single background to each other. And what better way to make it completely rainbow? I knew by the end of it, it was going to make my feed extremely colorful and attractive, and I thought it was a great idea. So I came up with a way to do it. Now, without going too much into detail, it was very difficult because Instagram displays your grid feed as a square when you're looking at it on your phone, yeah? I like to post my photos in portrait, however. And so this created a discrepancy in regards to what was actually being shown and what was being cut off. The first two posts, Drake and Billie Eilish, I actually realized this and had to figure out a way to get around it. This is why you see my watermark at the bottom of each post, and the photos don't go above a certain level at the top. As this is where I was directing majority of my work, I also wanted to figure out ways how I could make money out of it. And so fortunately, I actually had a few inquiries as soon as I started to have some artwork commissioned. This was my first artwork commissioned ever, and it was by a friend called Lockie. He was a DJ and he needed a few stickers, and this was a poster for some marketing material. Soon after, it was Stormzy. Stormzy was also commissioned by a friend of mine called Mac for another friend's birthday. And at this point, I was excited. Artwork was getting bought, and I thought this can really work. I made Tupac again, this time in grayscale for a friend of mine's birthday, and Mac Miller was another commissioned artwork, which I got printed on canvas. We then come up to the cheetah. Now this is probably one of my favorite works to date and has been for a while now. Why? Well, I actually learned that you can create movement and direction through the shapes that you actually use. This was because cheetahs don't have skin, obviously, like us, they have fur, and I wanted to try and find a way to replicate this within my vector art. This is a really big tip and definitely helped me later on within my design. The owl is a testimony to this through the feathers of the bird. As you can see on its chest here, it really looks like it's kind of coming around and all following one cohesive movement. And then we come to Thanos. Now, I did create a little bit of art in between the owl and Thanos, one of which was actually another commission by the same person who commissioned the Mac Miller design, and the other one was Troy Candy, which definitely sparked a relationship between me and him later down the track. But Thanos is a turning point in what happened throughout this whole feed. I made Thanos on the 29th of June 2019, yeah? This is the last ever design where I continued to use the brush tool and color in using different colored shapes and shadows with the pencil tool. I remember making this design literally hours before I jumped on a plane to go overseas with my family. I pulled an all-nighter to finish this design off and so I could get it out for you guys. This was the most motivated I'd been for a while, but unfortunately it died pretty quickly. When I got back from my holidays, I started uni and I got a new job working at Custom Promotions, working full time. This crushed everything. Now I say it was a big hit, but this is only in terms of my graphic design and content creation. Working at Custom Promotions was actually one of the best things that ever happened to me, as I was working full time and I was also studying full time. I gained an unbelievable amount of work ethic that I didn't even realize I had. Plus, I was introduced to a lot of fantastic people and as a result made a lot of contacts. Unfortunately, however, as I did say, it affected my content creation in such a way that it meant that I didn't post in over 6 months. As I said, Thanos was made on the 29th of June 2019. My next post was Bumblebee, and this was made on the 25th of November 2019. Just under 6 months apart. And now that I think about it, I can't believe I managed to sustain what I had going in the first place. I remember the only thing that kept me going were my Instagram stories about what I was actually doing within the business. I wasn't even posting content. However, because of this long period of not actually providing content and creating digital art that I wanted to make, it made me realize how much I missed doing it and where my true passion actually lied. And so once uni had finished, I'd finally had a little bit more time to work on what I wanted to do, and I made the decision to cut back my work hours at Custom Promotions, meaning that I had way more time to create content. And this was happening during the time of when I met Hayden, Mike, and Liam, and I was working with them on their merchandise, more specifically Hayden's merch at this point. And it was at this point, because of them, that I actually decided to start a YouTube channel. Now, Bumblebee was the first post that I made that I posted to Instagram and YouTube, and this was the direction that I wanted to take both platforms. The other interesting thing is, during this time, my Wacom tablet broke. And remember how I was telling you that I used the brush tool and the pencil tool to create Thanos? Well, this was no longer. I now had to figure out ways to create vector art with only using my mouse. As a result of this, my artwork started becoming a lot more linear, a lot more structured, and I started realizing that there were other ways to create vector art without applying this structure that I'd learned from Chi World. And as you see, when you scroll through my feed, a lot of my artworks are actually very straight, they're very structured, and I feel like the quality actually increases quite a lot. Octo Lady, Baby Yoda, this kangaroo was in relation to the Australian bushfires. I was also posting the work that we were actually doing with the boys. This one was one of Liam's designs, and I made this for one of their stickers. And it was at this time that I realized we were actually coming to the end of the feed. And as this was happening, I actually felt like I was getting my own kind of style and way in which I was making my own vector art, which was a really good feeling. And so the rainbow was coming to an end, and what better way to actually finish it off with creating vector art portraits of those that inspired me the most. I made Hayden, Liam, Mike, and my friend Riley, who all do YouTube, and encouraged me and really kickstart this whole venture that I'm doing right now. So that was a testimony to the boys. And that brings us to now. I posted the last post last night. It's been awesome. You guys have shown so much support and so much love. And you now might ask, what's next? Well, to be honest, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to be posting next or how I'm going to structure everything. All I know is that whatever it is, it's now opened up a whole lot of room for creativity. I now can actually align all of my posts on Instagram with the videos that I make on YouTube, and I don't feel like I'm straining it down. Once again, guys, thank you all so much for your support. I really do appreciate it. I hope you guys have learned a little something about where I began, how it all went down, what I learned, and where we're going in the future together. And that's pretty much it for the video. Once again, thank you guys, and I will see you in the next one.
Yo.